Hello, dear friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is news time again from this very good channel. Welcome back. How are you all doing? Hope you're good. I pray that God will be with you in your endeavors. Today, we have another update for you. And I want you to, after listening to it, you drop your opinion and suggestions you have so that Biafra will be free. And that's just it. Okay, let's go there.
Debated on the state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu in Rivers. At the commencement of the debate today, a rep member demanded a head count of members present in the session to ensure that two-thirds necessary to form a quorum were present in the House. However, the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, ruled that the attendance register would be used instead of going for a head count. Also, reports indicate that the Green Chamber has adjourned until next week, Tuesday. In a related development, the Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has called on members of the National Assembly from the Labour Party to stand firm and reject the removal of Governor of Rivers State Sim Fubara. Speaking via a statement he signed and shared on his Facebook handle, the former governor stated that he refused to speak about the lawmakers because he wanted them to concentrate on doing their duties. He, however, insisted that the recent removal of Fubara has made it paramount for him to address them. He said, and I quote, "I urge you to stand as true defenders of justice. Do not participate in or support any action, decision, or vote that compromises the integrity of our democracy, undermines the interests of the people of Rivers State, or contradicts our core values of fairness, equity, and transparency. Since your inauguration as distinguished and honorable members of the National Assembly, I have refrained from interfering in your legislative affairs out of respect for your independence and to allow you to focus on alleviating the suffering of the Nigerian people. However, at this critical juncture, following 26 years of a deteriorating democratic process marked by disregard for educational qualifications for electoral positions, massive rigging, and now the unconstitutional removal of elected office holders, I find it necessary to address you. These unconstitutional actions have far-reaching negative implications for our democracy and the will of the people. We must allow ourselves to become instruments of injustice. We must not allow ourselves to become instruments of injustice or contribute to the betrayal of the people's mandate." End quote. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a very recent developments, had disclosed that the emergency rule decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State, disclosing that the crisis was at a perilous tipping point, threatening the security of vital oil and gas installations. The president, justifying his decision, said the Rivers crisis was undermining the national economy and the progress his administration has made in the reforms initiated since it commenced in May 2023. The president lauded the National Assembly for the ratification of the state of emergency proclamation in Rivers State. According to the president, the declaration of emergency rule is a critical step to restoring stability after a protracted political crisis that paralyzed governance in the state and endangered national economic security for over 15 months. He specifically commended the National Assembly's leadership, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, House of Reps Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, and other principal officers and members for prioritizing the security and welfare of Rivers State people above partisan interest and other considerations. He further acknowledged the lawmakers' diligent review of classified security preference, underscoring the urgent need for intervention to prevent further escalation.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. A huge update.
Underscoring the urgent need for intervention to prevent further escalation. In a very recent development as well, the president is in a current meeting with the Asaba of Asaba, Delta State, Obi Professor Epiphany Azinge, a senior advocate of Nigeria, at the presidential villa in Abuja. The first-class monarch arrived at the meeting accompanied by several royal fathers who are suspected to be members of the Oberian Council. The visit comes in the wake of heightened tensions in some parts of the South-South geopolitical zone following President Tinubu's recent declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. The declaration had had actually led to the suspension of Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara, his deputy, and the entire members of the State House of Assembly for an initial period of 6 months. Alongside the state of emergency, President Tinubu appointed former Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibok Etta Ibas as the sole administrator for Rivers State, further asserting control over the region during this period. Professor Azinge, the 14th Asaba of Asaba, was crowned Obi on 26th of August 2024, marking the beginning of his reign. Meanwhile, the sole administrator of Rivers State, Ibas, on Thursday arrived at the Rivers Government House. Now, in a very recent development, which a couple of people are speculating, is the fact that the renewed agitation for Biafra has taken a new turn, as notable ex-militant leaders, including government Ekpemikpolo, also known as Tompolo, Ateke Tom, and Asari Dokubo, have issued a stern warning to the Nigerian government declaring their support for the movement. The former Niger Delta militant leader stated that any attempt to suppress the Biafran struggle would be met with strong resistance, vowing that Nigeria will be hunted down if the demands of pro-Biafra groups are ignored. Tompolo, who was once the leader of the dreaded movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, joined forces with other influential figures in the Niger Delta region to express solidarity with pro-Biafra agitators. According to reports, the ex-militants believe the federal government has continually marginalized both the Niger Delta and southeastern regions, failing to address long-standing economic and political grievances. However, the spokesperson for IPOB, Ima Powerful, has not responded to this supposed recent capital territory in Wike and residents affected by the capital territory in Wike and residents affected by the disaster. Nigeria's First Lady regretted that the incident led to loss of lives and properties and destroyed people's source of livelihood. Now, the National Judicial Council has faulted media reports claiming that the detained self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has been ordered, released, and returned to Kenya by the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of the NJC, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun. In a statement today, NJC's Deputy Director Information, Mrs. Kemi Ogedengbe, said there was no basis for such development because the CJN is currently not involved in Kanu's trial before a federal high court in Abuja. The statement reads that the attention of the NJC has been drawn to media reports that the Honorable Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of the Council, Honorable Justice Kudirat, has actually ordered the release of the detained leader Nnamdi Kanu and repatriated him to Kenya. The Council wishes to state that the media report is false and a figment of imagination of the writer, as there are no report or court proceedings, decision or judgment where such statements are ascribed to his lordship. The Council categorically emphasizes that the Honorable CJN neither presided over any case of Kanu at the Apex Court where jurisdiction issue was argued or made any of such pronouncement.